All right, moving on to the politics stuff. So, one thing I wanted to take a look at, I saw the Surfs post this last night, and I haven't watched it yet. So we're going to watch it for the first time live on the show. Now, the post reads, Tim Pool comes out in opposition of the French Revolution, saying the solution to dictatorial monarchy is for everyone to move into the middle of the forest. Once again, we see that beneath this woolen beanie lies a big pulsating brain. Oh, Tim Pool.
There's a homeless guy outside, and he's like, let me sleep in your house. And I'm like, no, you are causing my suffering. It is your fault. Then activists show up, and they're like, the only reason this man is suffering is because Tim Pool won't let him in his house. It's like, no, the dude is responsible for his own shelter, man.
To a point, but the French Revolution...
No, literally to period.
Well, but if there's a monarch that's hoarding all the materials so that the people are starving and suffering, it is the monarch's fault.
Why?
Because he's by force.
Why is it? He can't be this stupid. He can't be that stupid.
Force keeping them from their stuff or the stuff that their community has produced.
So can they like leave?
I'm sorry. Tim Pool, who fancies himself a liberal, are you saying that monarchies are justified if you can just move, forehead? What?
It depends. I mean,
is the king going, you can't even leave?
That actually is a good question, because where are you going to go? Are you going to go west?
Right.
You go in the middle of the woods.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that works with us.
My point is about Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba's food problem is Cuba's problem. Cuba's medicine problem is Cuba's problem. There is no obligation from any other country to give to them.
Okay. Wow. There is a lot to unpack here. Let's break it down one by one.
There's a homeless guy outside, and he's like, let me sleep in your house. And I'm like, no, you are causing my suffering. It is your fault. Then activists show up and they're like,
okay. So obviously this didn't happen. Obviously there is no homeless person outside of Tim Pool's like underground skate park / podcast studio that's like, let me sleep in your house.
Like, the only reason this man is suffering is because Tim Pool won't let him in his house. It's like,
there are no activists who will say, like, you need to let this homeless person stay in your house.
Like, no, the dude is responsible for his own shelter, man.
Okay. Poverty is a structural issue. Poverty is not like, oh, you're responsible for, having a house. Like, buddy, come on. We all know that it doesn't work like that.
Man.
To a point, but the French Revolution...
No, literally to period.
Well, but if there's a monarch that's hoarding all the materials so that the people are starving and suffering, it is the monarch's fault.
Okay. He is correct. It is the monarch's fault if they are the rulers of a land, these people like Tim Pool, wow, what a face to pause on. Tim Pool says he's a liberal, but down the line, he's like a American libertarian and conservative. He's just a Republican. Now, they fancy themselves as like anti-authoritarians and anti-big government. What's more big government than a monarchy? Feudalism. Is he really going to sit here and say, well, why is that the monarch's fault? Well, Tim, there is something called enclosure. During the feudalism era, during monarchy, there were open areas of land called the commons. And when people who had enough intergenerational wealth to claim it as theirs, they enclosed the commons. Okay? So it was no longer the commons. It was now the king's land, the lord's land. So, yeah, You're claiming public property, if you want to call it that, as your own. Sounds like an illegitimate claim, to me at least.
Why?
Because he's by force keeping them from their stuff or
Wait,
the stuff that
wait.
their community has produced.
So can they like leave?
Okay. Why should they have to leave their homeland where their entire family and community and livelihood, if they are lucky enough to, have a bakery, maybe they're a cobbler, maybe they work. Why should they have to leave when they are producing all of this wealth for the king who gives nothing back in return, functionally? Tim may say, oh, well, he gives protection over the land through control of, the army. Okay. Who is the army? The army is just the citizenry. Do you think that the citizenry cannot protect their own land? Why should they have to move?
It depends. I mean,
Is the
it depends
king
on the
going, you
situation.
can't even leave?
Oftentimes, yes. They would not be allowed to leave the kingdom. That is what serfdom is. God, he's so fucking stupid. So confidently wrong.
That actually is a good question because where are you going to go? Are you going to go west?
Right.
You go in the middle of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
The middle of the woods that is owned by the kingdom? Yeah, you might be able to, hide out for a while. But now you're a fugitive of the crown. It's not like you can just go out into the woods and, oh, well, can't find them. We'll get away for a little while. Not as many people. Tracking methods not as awesome. Hey, you may be able to live your entire life in the woods on your own. That really is just the fantasy Tim Pool has, because this isn't the first time he's made comments like that. Of like, you can just go live out in the woods. You can just go live a anarcho-primitivist lifestyle by yourself, away from society and civilization itself. If you disagree with the ruling class.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that works with us.
My point is about Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba's food problem
Okay.
is Cuba's problem. Cuba's medicine problem is Cuba's problem. There is no obligation from any other country to give to them.
Okay. Cuba's food problem is Cuba's problem. Cuba's medicine problem is Cuba's problem. Okay? So, complete isolationism could, Tim, I don't know, America's 60-year, try and stay with me on this, embargo on Cuba that has prevented it from participating in the global economy for, again, and I stress this, 60 fucking years, maybe, I don't know, call me crazy, have something to do with the ills in their country. Maybe. I don't know. Because it's not as if Cuba said, "Oh, well, we're just going to shut ourselves off from the rest of the world. We're going to erect 3 walls. Wall Rose, Wall Maria, and Wall Sina. What's the other one? I don't know. And we're going to keep ourselves out. America, you can have this little corner of the island. You can call it, I don't know, Guantanamo Bay. And, you can just torture all of your, political prisoners there. But we'll stay inside the walls. You think Cuba did that? No. We, America, have been preventing them from participating in the global economy. Now, despite that, they have better health outcomes, a longer life expectancy, a more robust healthcare system. Do they have freedom of speech? No. Do they have a higher literacy rate? Yes. Can a system that, despite everything that has been put up against it, that has somehow survived, I don't know how, still have issues that need to be resolved, and could ending that embargo maybe alleviate some of those issues? Probably. Yeah, I would say so. But Tim Pool's not interested in that. He's interested in feigning some level of intelligence when he takes the bold position of pro-monarchy and anti-French Revolution. Good job, Tim. What an idiot.